All right, so let's get started. If we have a couple stragglers, we'll go in from there. But I want to thank you all for coming and helping us out. We currently, right now, we have over 140 students registered to take this test, which means that we are probably, obviously there's only 60 of you here, so we're going to have a couple people either straggle in or have questions. So, few things I want to go over with you guys. Let's go to this document here. First of all, has everyone been able to, or has everyone had their kids able to go to the Canvas site and be able to do all of the practice on Canvas? Okay, if you have not had that ability, or you do not have, if your child has not been able to get onto that, please just reach out to me with an email. I know we had some people just sign up the last day or so, and so if that is the case, I obviously haven't had a chance to put yours in. But like I said, we have over 140 people, so we got a lot to keep track of. This is an overview of the Canvas course. You'll find that you'll see the link for any Zoom meeting that we'll have, as well as going to all the modules will give you a walkthrough of everything that we've done so far. If you have not had, if your child missed some stuff, right, maybe even missed a Zoom meeting like the one we had last Thursday, you can find that stuff in the modules in the Zoom. So you'll find like the video and practice and everything that we're dealing with for that. So if you have any questions or want any review material, it's all up here. Obviously, the student assessment isn't shown yet because we are waiting to get to that. So second, I want to make an announcement. We have our Zoom meeting this Thursday, and then we are going to be moving our Zoom meeting next week to Monday. I will send out a big parent email and give you, it's going to be the same link, but I'm going to have to move it to Monday. My wife is due Thursday. So it is entirely possible that we might not even be able to do the meeting on Monday. It just depends on when my daughter decides to come. And so be aware that we might not have a Zoom meeting next week. If we don't, that whole lesson, everything that I've done for that is already posted. If you look at system day 10, that's the stuff for next week, that just in case I was not able to do the Zoom meeting. Okay, so next week, at minimum, we're going to be doing our Zoom on Monday. If not Monday, then we will have to just essentially go a week without. All right, so the next thing, let's see. So let's go over the details of the placement test. So for the placement test, we split it up into two separate times. The reason we split it up into two separate times is we obviously are only able to get 100 people on a Zoom at one time. And so we needed to split it up so that way we could keep track of all the kids. So at 10 a.m., we are doing Elon Park and non-feeder schools. This is Saturday, May 23rd. And at 2 p.m., we're going to do Ballantyne and Hawk Ridge. So this document is also on the Canvas front page. So if you want to reference it later, that's where it is. You'll see the document embedded. But what we're doing with this is we need to try to create as secure a testing environment as possible. So that means a couple things. One, it means that we need your child to be isolated while they're taking the test. We don't want them kind of like in the kitchen where everyone else is doing everything. We want them to kind of have whatever space you can get them to be by themselves. Secondly, they are going to have Zoom open. The reason that we're going to have them have Zoom open while they're taking the test is we want to be able to see them and hear them. So what's going to happen is your child is going to log on. They're going to make sure I can see them and also get their camera on in the Zoom session. They are going to then turn their volume down. Okay, so they'll leave their volume open, they'll leave their mic open, but they are going to shut off their mic so they don't hear everyone else's background noise. The reason we're doing this is we want to make sure that there's any type of outside help. We don't want any, dealing with any siblings, try to help out their younger sister or brother or deal with any type of parent help. And this gives us eyes and ears on every single person on the test. Normally what would happen is you guys would come in, you'd go to the cafeteria, we'd have 100 of you, 100 of them, we'd space them out, 3 to 4 seats apart, and then we'd test everyone there. But because we don't do that, we can't do that this time. This is the best possible way we can get a similar atmosphere. Another thing I want to remind you guys, and I'll just be frank with you, we don't want to try to aid our child at all on this test. I know none of you would do that, but in case you have a younger child who's going to maybe, I don't know, try to help out your kid, whatever, we always want to deal with the appropriate placement of your child. And what that means is they need to make sure they're able to do it on their own, because it's harder for us once they might be able to make it through Math 1, but Math 2 and Math 3 hits them. If they're not ready, it's not going to be appropriate for them, right? And so we're going to do this Saturday, May 23rd, 10 a.m. for Elon Park and non-feeder schools, 2 p.m. for Ballantyne and Hawk Ridge. The test is on a timer. So your child will be given 90 minutes to take the test. We will give them a code to take the test, and that's when they'll take it. If we have someone like wait and try to take the test, or someone takes it not within the testing window, that child would automatically be disqualified for Math 1 the next year, right? And so you need to make sure that you are taking it within your test window, which either means 10 to 11:30-ish, or if you're Ballantyne or Hawk Ridge, 2 and beyond. We understand there'll be scheduling conflicts or any issue you might have with that. So if that's an issue time-wise, please let me know and we can set up something else, right? We're trying to be flexible, but we also need to try to get as many people tested as possible. Make sure you have a charged device. Any type of calculator is fine. Just make sure we don't want your child using a phone calculator. We want either a scientific or graphing calculator. Make sure they have paper, writing utensil. I would highly suggest your child has graph paper. If they don't have graph paper, that'll be fine, but you can easily print out or even just give them, you can draw lines on the paper for all you want, right? But it just will help them for some graphing problems. They don't need it, it's not required, but some of the strategies we've talked through on how to solve problem, graphing makes that a little bit easier, okay? So it's not 100%, you need graphing paper, but it will help. Once the test is started, it cannot be paused. So if your child goes and takes a bathroom break or tries to come back and get to it later, it runs out. Even if you exit out of the window, it runs out. Okay, so the test will be in Canvas, so we can easily and quickly grade it. But that also means that once the time starts, that's it. So please try to deal with your child going to the bathroom beforehand. Make him go, because I tell you, every time when we test them, we say, all right, this is the last call, and then we get 70 children going to the bathroom at once. I don't understand why they wait that long, but it is what it is. All right, we need to make sure that your child is visible. We need to make sure microphone is on. Make sure they can access the test on the Canvas page. You'll see where that is in module. It will also be in quizzes, and so in the Canvas page, what they'll do is they'll click here for quizzes. They won't have this access yet because we don't have the test visible yet. Right now, your child can only see home, announcements, module, and setting. So there'll be this one extra thing, quizzes right here, and I'll also walk that through with your kid when on test day. Okay, so you'll see this little button on the side here that says quizzes. Once it's time for them to take it, we'll have that there. Okay. Secondly, so I will be monitoring them. They'll be given a passcode the day of the test. Relevant topics for them to cover: solving multi-step equations. You really want them to be able to do this with fractions as well, and deal with mixed numbers, or not mixed numbers. You want to deal with improper fractions. We want fractions, improper fractions, and even decimals. Being able to convert from a decimal to a percent would be helpful. Okay, so make sure we know our decimal percents, 20% less, dealing with that, meaning take the original quantity and multiply it by 80%, stuff like that. Identifying functions, being able to tell what a function is. We have videos on identifying functions, and linear function / linear relationships. One thing I would put in here as well, direct variation. It's part of linear relationships, but you'll also see a module in the Canvas course for that. So what you can do to prepare, have your student walk through, not only should they be doing the Zoom with me, but they should also be doing all of the extra worksheets and practice on the Canvas course as well. You'll see every worksheet that's there, there is a answer key. And if a student ever has a question about it, if they're stuck on something, you can just have them reach out and email me, and I will help them to the best that I can. Please be aware, like I said, I have a child due next Thursday, so if I'm a little bit late on some emails recently, that's probably why. Anything else that I can think of? Not really. Big thing, 90 minutes. Oh, 30 question test, multiple choice. There are a couple questions that it will be select all that apply. And so and I've talked about that with your students, but that means that you'll select more than one answer, right? And so it won't just be A and B, it'll be like, or it won't just be A, B, C, or D. You got to select anything that'll work for that. So hopefully they'll be aware of that language. I know we had a little bit of issue with that last year, so we tried to clarify it to really let students know, hey, if it says select all that apply, you got to make sure you do that. But it is 30 questions, approximately 90 minutes, give or take, with setup. But once they put in the code, that's when it starts the clock for them. Once they are done, they will just leave. They will leave the test. They'll leave the Zoom. They're good. But they should type. We'll deal with some type of procedure for them essentially checking with me and saying, hey, I'm done. Can I leave now? How do we handle technical issues that may arise? Example, being kicked out of a Zoom session. That kind of goes back to that stable internet, making sure you have that. We really need you to be able to have your kid on Zoom the entire time. I know sometimes that can be an issue, but we can only do so much with it. Is there a submit button before they close out the assessment? Yes. So they can go through every single question and come back to it, and then there's a submit button at the end. What other questions can I answer? Anything else that we have? What time are the Zoom meetings that you will be holding? So I held one last Thursday, and it was at 3 o'clock. I'll also be holding one this Thursday. It's also at 3 o'clock. Your child can find that link. If we go to home, it is on right here. It's right here. You can see students can attend math club weekly Zoom meetings Thursday at 3. Can I email this information to you? Yes, I can send you the link of the document. I'll just send that to every 5th grade parent that I have. 30 questions on the test. Once submitted, it can be reviewed. No, it'll be you submit it, then you're done. Any calculator works, graphing calculator, TI, that's fine. We just don't want something with like an equation solver for them. That's the only thing that we wouldn't like to do. Is there a possibility to have courses prior to day 5 posted online? So I have all of the material for stuff prior to day 5. I don't have videos for those. And I honestly won't be able to make videos by the time we get to there. But the videos are creating equations from 2 points and graphing lines and solving multi-step equations. So solving multi-step and graphing stuff. This is not at Elon Park. This is in your own home, right? So we're doing all of this in your own home. We can't use any schools. What is the need for a calculator? So some of the problems I will say are easier with a calculator. You technically could do the whole test without a calculator, but I will say some of the problems dealing with like percents and decimals are just easier if you have a calculator. Will I send the link on test day? I'll send a link for the Zoom probably about a week out, so you all are aware when it'll be, and then we can go from there. When will students have access to the quiz? The day of, like literally that day. Is there a qualifier pass percent? Yes, there is. In years past, it's been if you can get a 25 or above. So if you got a 25 or higher, 25 out of 30, then that was our qualifier. Again, we want to have these strict standards so that way our students can succeed. We never want to push your kid into a class that they're not going to be comfortable with. There also will be a there will be a summer resource kind of like learning guide they can do that'll be a blend space with videos, practice, more stuff just to sharpen their skills. And I will be realistic if I think your kid really needs to do it or if your kid should do it. Every child should do it, but if you're on the bubble, I'm going to be very frank with you because I know it's a tough decision about whether to put your kid in or not. If we say your kid is not able to take the class, that's the end of that sentence, right? Where there's no, but my kid got, nope, that's the end of it, right? So be aware, if I think your kid will be successful in the course, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you. If it's 25, what is the score for 7th grade honors? I think 7th grade honors, for those of you who aren't aware, if you don't make it into Math 1, in the past we've had a class for our students who still were very successful but didn't quite make that cutoff. I believe, and don't quote me on this, I believe it's a 19 or higher. I think it was 19 to 25 was that 7th grade honors. I will contact you if communication, yeah, so I have all of your phone numbers if you filled out that form. And so I'll be able to say, hey, you need to get your child, there's either too much volume, whatever it may be. I'll be able to contact you. So just have your phone on you when your child is taking that test to give you a warning. If we do more than one warning, or if I can't get a hold of you, you're kicking your kid out, their test grade is invalidated. When will we know the results? That's a good question. Probably, I want to say at most like the week after, because it's graded automatically. So once we look at the results, everything looks good, all the testing went well, we'll give you a call. I call you on an individual basis if you made it in. If you didn't make it in, you'll get an email letting you know, hey, your child was not able to make it. Again, we do have 140 people signed up so far, so that's why we're doing an email if you were not able to make it. Will there be word problems? Yes, there will be word problems. A good chunk of the test is word problems. The test is in Canvas. Yep. Will there be topics on the test from more than what I posted on Canvas? Yes and no. There's going to be some stuff that would be kind of like, I guess maybe some 6th grade or advanced 5th grade skills that we'll have on there that I do not go over. So that is, there will be some stuff. Yes, this is the best way. If you place into Math 1, you always have the option to choose. Every single time. This is a choice you have for your child. The only thing we do is we essentially say if your child is able to take Math 1. And again, like I said, I've had, this will be our 3rd group coming through. I can tell you based on your score if your child will be successful or not. If your kid's on the bubble, I'm going to tell you. If your kid's like maybe right there, if they did a lot of work in the summer, they'd be fine. Or I'll tell you if your kid's like gonna be good to go. How do you sign up for the test? Anyone who signed up with this form automatically is signed up for the test. That's part of the Canvas course. What will the total number of students be in Math 1? I have no idea. As many people as make the cutoff, right? If we have 40 students, we'll have 40 students in Math 1. We're not going to change the cutoff just to fit a class, right? We do what's appropriate for our students. Okay. What do kids use in middle school? Ti84 Plus is probably the best way to go. If you want to get your child a graphing calculator, Ti84 Plus. You do not need to get a Ti84 color. Ti84 Plus is good to go. Is there any limitation in selection, or whoever meets the criteria will go? Yeah, so whoever makes the criteria will go. We are looking at your child's grade as well, like their 5th grade scores, as well as their map data. So if we see something like your child gets a 30 out of a 30, but your child is averaged like a 70 all year, then obviously that some fishy's going on, right? But we will use that more to lift up our students than take them down. But pretty much as long as you're able to do well on the test, and you're going to be good to go. Okay. Went to Math 1 classes in community house. It means she is registered for Math 1 classes. Do I fill out the form? If yes, may I know when I can get the test? My daughter went to the Math 1 classes in community house. Yes, she is registered. As long as she is signed up for the Canvas course, she is registered. Is there any additional course material you suggest? I would say if you look at the 7th grade release EOG, that's really good stuff. Parts of the 8th grade EOG is good. However, anything dealing with geometry or probability and statistics is not something you need to focus on. We are focusing mostly on algebra and functions because that's the prior knowledge we want our students to have. So you don't have to worry about, like, they need to know how to find area and perimeter of a rectangle. You don't need to worry about circles, 3D figures, anything like that. There are no practice tests on Canvas. I will be doing like a kind of pseudo review sheet, but we don't give you like a practice test and then, you know, do the exact same test. Map scores will be considered. They will have a little bit of different weight this time just because they are not the most recent. Like the most recent one you have is from the winter. So again, you know, our big indicator is this placement test. And again, that's why it's so crucial that we're doing the placement test correctly. I will err on the side of caution if I believe that there's any kind of issue going on during the test. We'd rather cut a kid out than put a kid in, right? Any other questions? Anything else I can answer? Let me make sure we have this. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever during this time, you can reach out to me. My email's right there. You hopefully have gotten emails from me before. This is the link to the Zoom meetings. They will be every Thursday. Remember that after this Thursday, though, next week, if possible, I'll be doing a Zoom meeting on Monday. If my wife goes into labor before that, you will get an email letting you know, hey, no Zoom meeting next week, but you'll also already see that everything that we will go over next week is already in here, right? Day 10 systems of equations, that's already there. Can students apply for Math 2? Nope, can't have you skip. We are unable to skip Math 1 and go into Math 2. Anything else? Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming to this. If you need anything, let me know. I'll try again. I've been getting some great emails from students just asking for either clarifications on stuff or supplemental material. If you have any questions like that, please, please, please feel free to have your child reach out and get those questions answered, right? We want to try to support your kid the best we can. I know it's tough because we can't do those in-person meetings, but this is our second best alternative. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Again, reach out if you have any questions. See ya.